What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today, we are going to go ahead and have a look at, might be legitimately one of the most difficult pieces of content in the game. And that is going to be the single match versus the INT challenge difficulty. Now, starting from like last month, they started doing these challenge difficulties where they would make the content a little bit more difficult, right? So you're seeing at the bottom here where we have a Sandersonia team. This team right here is a team that you cannot physically build in the game. What they've done is that they've lifted the restriction cost in their team building for the Bandai side of things, and they've given the characters additional candies and additional stats that are not typically available in the game. So they've made this impossible team and they challenge you to beat it. Now, the strength team was a little bit easier to take on. The INT one that they currently have is extremely difficult because even if you have the most optimal team to take this on, you're still not guaranteed to get the win. The thing about it is that they stack this team filled with so many legends, and they have so many bulky mechanics. They have so much healing. They halve your stats with Yamato and Moria. To give you guys a bit of a rundown on what is exactly happening, we can actually have a look at the opponent's team here. You can see combat power 11k, over nearly 14,000, like 13,500 HP is absolutely absurd. So you've got your Rogue, which gives HP up and defense up level 5, and for the first 30 seconds he gives himself a CT boost, and then Psy characters also get CT reduction, so that obviously hurts. And if you do choose to bring Psy characters here, his special does a 4 times attack to 3 Psy characters on your team. He hits incredibly hard, so you do have to be very cautious of that. Then you've also got access to Dory and Broggy, both of which have very strong passives, and the really annoying thing is that they debuff Striker. Now, on paper, you wouldn't think it's that big, but in a team like this, where it's essentially an impossible team to take on, the fact that they debuff Strikers is quite huge, because characters like Legend Jack, Roger and Whitebeard, Yamato, those 3 characters, which are very good in Pirate Rumble, all get nerfed severely by this character getting attack down, and we'll go through the other guy in a moment. And then his special ability provides a bunch of buffs to their INT side of the field, and then they also do really good damage to you, and he guarantees special binds any character that has 100% of their CT charge. And this was one of the main problems. If this unit didn't have the special bind, this team would be a little bit easier to take on, but that special bind is very, very annoying. And then, of course, you've got Broggy, one of the other new characters who have amazing passive, also gives additional attack to the INT characters every time he hits. And then he has the additional effect of Striker class enemies get defense down level 5. So with Dory and Broggy, they give level 5 attack down and level 5 defense down to Strikers, which is really, really harsh to get through. And then, of course, they've got the other units such as Moria and Yamato, which provide halving of stats. Yamato hits like an absolute truck. And then they've got healing capabilities and mass defenses with characters like Peruna, Reiju, and also Marco. You've got Reiju as well, inflicting the damage over time, which is annoying to deal with in and of itself. You've got Peruna, which is also debuffing some of your big hitters on your team. So with the debuffing from Peruna, the halving stats from Moria and Yamato, and then you've got the big hitters themselves in your Rogue, Dory, and Broggy to deal with. This is extremely difficult to get through. So in today's video, we have 2 different teams that are going to be taking this one on, including the team that you're seeing right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So jumping into the first team that you guys are going to be seeing here is going to be a Psy team. Now, initially I was thinking the Psy team was going to be pretty good, and then I got absolutely wrecked, and then looking back at it, I feel like the Psy team had the capabilities of doing it. Now, one of the big problems with the Psy team taking on this INT challenge team is mainly you Rogue, because you Rogue does so much damage towards those 3 Psy characters that he targets, and just the fact that the team is so tanky, if you don't kill the right characters, you're just going to lose. So ideally, the ones that you want to leave the field first are going to be your Rogue and then Dory and Broggy for this specific team. Now remember, Dory and Broggy are debuffing Striker characters, so the Yamato on our team is actually slightly debuffed with less defense and less offense as well. Odin is an absolute powerhouse. He is amazing to have. You've also got V2 Law, or Wano Law should I say, who is V3 Law technically. He's great because he debuffs powerhouse characters, he debuffs their CT, their guard rate, etc. Another very nice character against the Dory, Broggy, and Rogue character. We've got Luffy and the Straw Hats just kind of like as an additional unit, but the big key character that helps out so much is Germa 66. Germa 66 have a very good passive, which enable you to get -5 defense to the enemy's INT characters. So the entire enemy field has -5 defense whilst Germa's out on the field, which is absolutely wicked. So that's obviously a huge benefit to this team. As for the bench, it really doesn't matter. We've got Rebecca, Toy Soldier, because they're probably the best Psy PvP rare recruit in the game. And then the other two characters are just support rare recruits that just have like one cost. They're just there to just add an additional body, just in case if we need it. It can just kind of sit there to tank other hits from the enemies. So it's nice to have the extra bodies if you have the additional cost to do so. Would highly advise doing that. But luckily was able to secure victory with this team, and Odin is so good, being able to do so much damage, and he has a pretty high chance of action binding the enemies. And I believe, to my recollection, none of the enemies in this team have the ability to resist action bind. I know that they have resistance to paralysis, and they definitely have resistance to special bind, but I don't think they have resistance to action bind. So that's going to be kind of key. If you're able to action bind them, you can just stop them from attacking. Gives you a pretty good opportunity to get some damage in against them. Moving on now to the secondary team of the video. I was trying out a couple different teams, but ended up resorting to this one, which is essentially a slasher-based team, but it is a bit odd because we also have Jack on here as well. Now, the main ideology of this team and what I was thinking of is having Jack and Whitebeard and Newgate. Those two characters providing huge health cuts, and also with Roger and Newgate doing the health cut which can target every enemy on the field, 30% health cut, and then he targets two characters for, I believe it's 2 times his attack or 3 times his attack, that bypasses enemy defense. So in a lot of cases, if you are ensuring that he doesn't get debuffed with his attack, like for example, if Peruna is able to launch, which debuffs your character's attack, or if Yamato launches and obviously halves your character's stats, in that instance there, and if Roger and Newgate are hit by that, when he launches his special, he's not going to be able to debuff anything. However, if Roger and Newgate are able to stay squeaky clean, they actually are able to knock out 1 to 2 characters when he launches his special, which is great. And ideally, you want to make sure you can use that special of Jack. Now, one thing that was very, very annoying when using this team is that the Dory character, when he launches his special, if any of your characters have a max special ready to go, he can special bind them. And that was a huge issue because in a lot of instances when I was trying out this team, is that Jack would often get special binded because he wasn't able to launch right before Broggy, meaning that he gets special binded, we don't get the health cuts, we don't get the defensive capabilities. It's a big thing. Now in this instance here, you see that Dofi actually did get special binded, which does suck. It is nice to get him to launch because he does provide additional attack and additional defense to your slasher characters. Really nice to have that, but you know, it's probably better to get the Jack special off because he already does provide defense to your characters, and the multiple hits of health cut that he can do, as long as it's in the first 40 seconds, is so good. Having that in tandem with Roger and Newgate, if you get both Jack and Roger and Newgate to launch one after each other, it's so valuable, and in a lot of cases there, you're going to get the double KO, which is super good. But it all comes down to RNG, comes down to how lucky you are in getting your specials to launch at the right time, which is so infuriating, man. It's such an annoying battle. Now, these are only just 2 different teams that are able to beat it. There are plenty of other teams out there that are able to get the job done. I know that some people were suggesting a mono strength team could be the way to go. I was trying that. It didn't really provide much success for me, but I know that a lot of people were recommending that. Also, apparently, quick teams could have a shot at it. I was also trialing a quick team, but I felt like, you know, they didn't have really a lot of damage output, at least personally when I was using it. You know, Okainu's great, he's really nice to get the health cut, then the damage, but outside of that, there really isn't a lot. I was trialing Bellamy and stuff, but anyways, I'll show you guys these teams that we had here today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.